John Fedro here with mobilehomeinvesting.net. Now, after you purchase a mobile home inside of a park, and before you sell that mobile home inside of a park, the mobile home park wants to know who you are. Unless you fly under the radar, the park is going to want to get a background check on you, typically a credit check. They're going to want to have you sign the park's rules and regulations, and they're going to want to have you sign a residential lease agreement that you're leasing the land for 1 month, 6 months, 12 months. You can typically obviously get out of that lease because you're going to resell the home to another person in a couple days or a couple weeks. So the park knows that. This video is talking about storage agreements. These are agreements that you may come across. It only is about in 30% of parks or less. And really in some areas it's like less than 10% of parks. So you may not see this for a while you're mobile home investing. However, a mobile home storage agreement is something that some parks, bigger parks, corporate parks, smaller parks, mom and pop parks, they ask you to sign in lieu of a residential lease agreement. Because the park knows that you're not going to physically live in the mobile home, they don't need you to sign a big residential lease agreement. In fact, they want you to sign a storage agreement saying that you agree not to live in this mobile home, but instead you're going to resell it to a park approved buyer. So let's talk about that. If you're ever faced with a storage agreement as an investor of mobile homes, or maybe your next of kin, you kind of inherited this mobile home that you're not going to be living in. The park knows that, so they have you sign a storage agreement. They don't have to necessarily do a background check, and that's one of the benefits. With storage agreements, the park always doesn't have to do a background check or a credit check because they know that you're not going to physically be living there. Also with the storage agreement, they may ask you to pay a discounted amount. Now that's not always the case, but sometimes the park says that for the first 6 months, for the first couple months, or while ever you have the storage agreement, you can go ahead and get a discounted lot rent of half price, less than half price, or it's the exact same price because let's face it, if the park doesn't have to give you a discount, then they might not want to. I'm going to show you a couple examples right here on the countertop. On the left is a mobile home storage agreement. On the right is a mobile home park space lease agreement. And something I wanted to show you between both of these, they're both similar in a lot of ways. You're going to sign these agreements at the end just like you normally would, agreeing that you're going to keep the home in the park. There's also spaces for the term, the lot rent amount, the fact that the rent is going to go up. There's rental increases. You have to follow the rules and regulations. But something that the storage agreement says, which I thought was kind of interesting, again, it still talks about the base rent. You have to follow the rules and regulations. Also, that the owner shall not permit anyone to occupy the mobile home during the term of this agreement. Because once somebody goes into the home, this agreement is gone, and now a residential lease agreement has to get started. Something else that I thought was very interesting, and this is part of the reason why the storage agreement exists, because when you're not living in the home, typically you're going to be reselling it and you're going to do some work. If there is work needed to be done to the mobile home, then there typically will be a note or a paragraph or a clause that does mention a deadline of what repairs have to be done and when. Stuff on the outside of the home, and depending on the park, stuff on the inside of the home. The park manager may want to walk around the exterior and the interior of the home before they allow you to resell the property. So make sure you are crystal clear on what the park manager expects for repairs. Not vague. Don't think you assume what they want. Go around and take pictures of everything that the park wants done. Besides that, a storage agreement is relatively very similar when we're buying a mobile home. When we're selling a mobile home, there's not much benefit. It's pretty much business as usual. The storage agreement goes away. Your new buyer is going to have a residential lease agreement. If you do sell it to maybe another investor, then they would also probably sign a storage agreement. It depends on the park, but most of the time they would do that. But most of the time we are selling to an end buyer. If you have any more questions about mobile home park lease agreements or mobile home park storage agreements, never hesitate to reach out anytime. You can reach me at support@mobilehomeinvesting.net or visit mobilehomeinvesting.net for more information. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.